What is your "it's just a phase, I hope" story? Story 1. I guess it's more like his attitude, but he's really materialistic and status conscious as much as a 6-year-old can be. He's always comparing his stuff to other people's stuff. I don't really understand where he gets it from because I'm not like that at all. On the one hand, it's cool if he's willing to work for the nice things he wants. On the other hand, it's not cool if he's just so obsessed that it's taking over parts of his brain, you know? He only wants to play sports that have the most gear because he likes the gear, not necessarily the sport. He has to have the nicest shoes. If his friends have some cool thing, he must also have that cool thing. He's the one who leaves the toy store saying, "That's really cool you got me these things, but why didn't you get me this too?" Yes, I've tried putting everything back and leaving the toy store. This just seems to be the way he is right now. He also thinks he's an expert after spending 2 minutes learning about something. That is really infuriating. No, you're not an expert on sharks because we read half of a kid's book on sharks. He also likes to be the best. No, you're not good enough to be in the NHL. You're 6. Okay, yeah, you're a good skater now, but guess what? If you just sit there congratulating yourself instead of practicing, all those other guys on your Little League team will just blow by you next year. I mean, I don't say this to him, I just tell him to keep practicing. It can be tough to see our kids develop attitudes that we don't necessarily share or agree with. But it's important to remember that they are their own people, and they will have their own interests and passions. It's great that he's motivated to work for the things he wants, but it's also important to help him understand that it's not just about the things themselves, but also about the experiences and the joy that they can bring. Story 2. Currently, my son, 15, keeps spending hours in the woods near my house. I don't want to hinder his individuality, but I use the parent control on his phone to track where he goes. I found this tree house. I don't know if he built it or found it, and when I climbed up, I saw magazine papers covering the walls, yarn pinned to them with Polaroids tacked up everywhere. The weirdest part? They were all pictures of birds, with bird feathers in the yarn, and on the floor in the corner, there was what turned out to be a jumpsuit covered with various types of feathers. I don't know why he hasn't felt comfortable talking about this. He knows I love him, and I think I know what this is about. I will accept him whether or not he's realized he's actually unique on the inside, provided he doesn't want to feed him like a mama bird. Update. I thought of checking his room today after remembering this. He has a drawer full of little bones. The thing I want to be a phase is the unaliving. The rest is whatever. I could always buy him feathers and help him staple them on. At first, I thought he was doing substances in the woods. Then I thought he was a stalker. Then I was like, okay, it's just bird watching. That's an okay hobby. Then I was like, what the? It's amazing how kids can surprise us with their unique interests and hobbies. I love how the parent in this story is open-minded and accepting of their son's bird obsession, even though it may seem a bit unconventional. It's great to see a parent who isn't trying to force their child into a mold and instead lets them explore their individuality. Story 3. I have a 14-year-old who is obsessed with socks. He spent like $19 on a single pair of socks. They have to be these Nike Elite gold-plated something something. I hope he grows out of this fast. I've started wearing fancy merino wool socks, usually Smart Wool, but some other brands too. And they are so much better than regular socks, it's amazing. Your son is onto something. Upgrade your socks, upgrade your life. Story 4. Not a parent, but my nephew pretty much lives with us, so close enough. He's 5 and is right in the midst of his picky eating stage. It's so annoying because we'll be eating one thing and he'll insist on eating something else. And he's hardcore. So he'd literally starve himself rather than eat what we're eating, so we usually give in. But sometimes we're eating a food he likes, but because he doesn't want that food that day, he'll try to claim he doesn't like it. "I don't like pizza, though. We ate pizza yesterday." "Yeah, but I was just pretending because I don't like pizza. I like pasta." He's a great kid, polite and kind, but sometimes I kind of want to kick him a few miles because he's getting on my nerves. I totally understand how easy it is to get frustrated with picky eaters, especially when they're as stubborn as your nephew. But it sounds like he's a sweet kid overall, and it's good that he's polite and kind. Hopefully, he grows out of this phase soon and becomes more adventurous with his food choices. Story 5. So, my 4-year-old is obsessed with Minecraft. I enjoy it quite a lot also, but I'm really only playing it because he wants to watch. But he keeps wanting me to do creepy things. Like the latest thing he wants me to do is to build tracks and collect all of the villagers into a place and build a machine to unalive them. I know they aren't real people or anything, but no, I'm not going to build concentration camps. I was playing Minecraft with my 4-year-old. As I was busy chopping down trees and building the house, he was knocking pigs into a ravine and watching them perish. Story 6. My teenage son is going through the "I don't have to shower every day, even after rugby practice" phase. I have tried to tell him he stinks, but for some reason he thinks I'm crazy. Hope this ends soon. Start hoarding all his filthy laundry, especially his rugby clothes. And when you have a sizable amount and he's at school, dump it all onto his bed and shut the room to let the stink permeate every surface. Then, when he asks why you did such a thing and his room stinks, tell him that's how he smells when he won't shower. Story 7. My 9-year-old son really likes sleeveless shirts. My grandma bought him a bunch. He chooses his daily outfit, which is a sleeveless shirt with shorts every day. All of the shorts he owns are plaid. It's like he's a preppy on the bottom and hillbilly on top. I don't care too much because who really gives a care what the kid wears as long as 1, it's appropriate for the event, and 2, it's clean. It's embarrassing to go out in public with him, but he's happy. It's always interesting to see our children's unique sense of style, and it sounds like your son's a bit of a mix and match. But hey, if he's happy and comfortable in his clothes, that's what really matters. And as you said, as long as it's appropriate for the event and clean, who cares? Story 8. Crying. Just crying, screaming for hours and hours and hours to the point where I consider taking him to be seen by a doctor. Then, just as I'm about to arrange it, he stops. Then do it again. He's only 5 days old, but I'm already feeling the pressure and stress. Story 9. My son is 13. He recently started insisting on tucking his pants, usually sweatpants, into his socks and pulling up his socks and then wearing sandals. I told him he looks like a pirate with 2 wooden legs. He's a tall, thin stick of a boy. So far, no one else has mentioned it to him, so he thinks I'm just being silly. Get pictures while you can so he can look back and laugh with you later. Story 10. My 10 and 13-year-olds are all hot topic all the time. As a legit punk kid back in the 80s, this seems wrong to me. My tights were shredded because I was too poor to get new ones. It was just a bonus that they look cool. Hot Topic has some cool things, but I feel like it should be utilized to enhance a look, not just to be a head-to-toe walking marketing ad for their stuff. Story 11. My 3-year-old has just discovered his willy can not only pee in the potty, but if properly angled can form a fine arc of urine that will land on anything he aims at, which at the moment tends to be the cat. Yes, my toddler is currently into peeing on the cat, which then runs all over the place getting his pee everywhere. Thank you, toddler. Your girlfriends of the future will be hearing all about this. Oh boy, sounds like someone's got a little Picasso in the making. Well, I guess it's better than drawing on the walls with markers, right? Jokes aside, it's a typical phase for little boys to discover their aiming skills. But I can imagine how frustrating it must be for the poor cat. I hope you're keeping a close eye on your little one and teaching him some proper bathroom etiquette.
Please like and subscribe if you made it this far. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the video and have a wonderful day.
Story 12. My 5 years are 100% bathroom independent. He just forgets to wipe half the time. He also has a habit of waiting until the last possible minute he can hold his pee. This means he either A. unleashes the beast and lets fly, Or B, has trouble with his belt and wets himself. Sure, it's sort of fun predicting when the crosshouse potty sprint is going to occur, but it cannot be healthy. Story 13. My 12-year-old is obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy's. It wouldn't be so bad if every electronic device he got his hands on didn't get a profile or something named after some weird animatronic character. He made 4 new separate user accounts on the netbook that we let him use to play Minecraft. Named them all after Five Nights at Freddy's characters. It looks like we have a budding animatronic aficionado on our hands. I mean, who wouldn't want to name their user accounts after some creepy yet intriguing characters from Five Nights at Freddy's? Maybe we can get him a Five Nights at Freddy's themed laptop or something to contain all of his character profiles in one place. Who knows? He might even be the next Scott Cawthon. Story 14. Lying, but in a really incompetent way. She's nearly 3 and has started trying to get out of doing stuff by making the most outrageous and clearly untrue statements. Like, you can't brush my hair. I haven't got a head. And, I can't put my shoes on. I'm in a box, and boxes don't have feet, etc. I try not to just laugh in her face, but it's difficult. Story 15. He won't shave his beard. He's 17 and it's very thin and long. Reminds me of the first time I saw my own armpit hair when I was in middle school. I'm getting married next week. I asked him to shave and he said, "But Mom, it'll take me like 2 years to grow it back." So we compromised that he would at least trim it shorter. Story 16. Frozen. She has this one dress that she wears. It gets washed, she wears it again, lather, rinse, repeat. We watch the dang movie most days. She's on to her second copy. She has a cape that goes over her regular clothes on the days her dress is being washed. I can repeat the entire script. I'm over Frozen. Story 17. My son is wearing pull-ups, and if the smell is any indication, he's currently pooping his pants while grunting and telling me right to my face he doesn't have to go poop. This poop is really getting old. To be fair, he probably doesn't need to once he's done talking to you. Story 18. So my 12-year-old son keeps saying that he is a bean boy. At first I thought it was just a stupid game, but I checked his internet history and it's 85% bean related. I hope it's just a phase. Real human bean. Story 19. My 5-year-old son is obsessed with Bowser from Mario Brothers. He talks about him all the time. It's getting old, and I wonder what the other kids in his kindergarten class think. Or maybe they obsess about similar things too. Story 20. My 3-year-old likes to pull his dong out of his pull-up and yell, "Look at my dingle!" I hope this stops before I send him to daycare. Story 21. My teenage daughter claims that our family is a communist dictatorship and she has no rights. I sighed, told her it's more like a fascist dictatorship, or maybe even a monarchy. Story 22. My 7-year-old saw a ceiling fan installation video on YouTube. He is now obsessed with ceiling fans. He's going to ask Santa Claus for 4 new ceiling fans for Christmas. Story 23. Pooping in the shower and towing it down the drain. He gets it on the curtains and everything. No idea how he does it. Story 24. Knee-high, neon-colored Nike socks. With shorts, naturally. Elementary school fashion can be mind-boggling. Story 25. Pull-ups at night. He's going to be 7, and although most mornings that pull-up is relatively dry, I am really looking forward to never buying another dang diaper or pull-up again. Story 26. Rocking herself to sleep in a recliner, counting out of order in a possession-like trance. Story 27. She's wearing my wife's placenta like a sleeping bag. The nerves of some people. Story 28. He thinks he's a Jedi. Acts like a Sith. Confusing it. Jedi on the street? Sith in the sheets. Story 29. Growling loudly. At everything. He's 2.5. Just flew to Orlando from the UK. Funny for the first hour, not so much for the next 8 or so. Story 30. My nearly 3-year-old started licking walls. I think I'm nurturing that weird kid. Story 31. Little Poop took off his clothes and is now chasing the dog. Ah, to be 17 again. Story 32. Duck face selfies. She's 14. Don't get your hopes up. My wife and her friends still do that stuff. Story 33. Pimping herself out at school for spicy rolled tortilla snacks. Story 34. Playing the Watch Me Whip Nene song on repeat. Story 35. Elsa. I hear Let It Go in my nightmares now. Story 36. Please, God, help me. My son has a fedora. Story 37. Diapers. College kids are the worst. Story 38. Tantrums.
Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.